Hi guys, and welcome back again. So in this video, we're going to have a look at the modulation matrix located here and also the macro control. So we've kind of touched upon the modulation matrix when we've been routing, especially the stepper in the last video. But basically the modulation matrix allows you to route sources. You can see it says source here to targets, which are located down here. So sources are any modulators like LFOs, envelopes, mod wheel, etc. And targets are any of the parameters on SPI that can be modulated, and pretty much everything can be modulated, so that's pretty much everything. So the matrix consists of 15 slots. You can see it's separated out into pages here, all the way up to slot 15. So this is the first slot, second slot, third slot, etc. Now for each slot, we can have 2 sources and 4 targets. Now we can also use these 2 sources simultaneously to affect a parameter. So let's set this up to be the LFO and envelope 2. Target, choose filter cutoff, which is quite an obvious one. Let's come out of here. Let's just take this routing off. Now we have envelope 2 and LFO 1 affecting the filter. Now let's bring down the filter cutoff. Now at the moment we don't hear any modulation, no change in terms of the LFO modulation. The reason is that envelope 2 sustains all the way up, so that means it's pushing the filter cutoff all the way to the top. As soon as you bring this down, we start to hear the LFO modulation coming in. So now we can actually use these 2 simultaneously. So let's say we were to take off this second modulation source of the envelope. Now we're just hearing the LFO on its own. Let's reverse that. So let's bring envelope 2 in and take out the LFO. Now we're just hearing envelope 2 in action. So this way we can kind of set up some kind of more interesting movement. By using those 2 simultaneously. So as I said, we have 15 slots with 2 sources for each one. So you can see there's a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can do here. Now I want to head across to the macros here. Now above these we have undo and redo, which is quite useful. So you can kind of scroll through and undo and redo what you've done. And also we have macros here. So let's choose source here. And we'll choose mod 1, which corresponds to this first macro here, mod 1. And now, let's say we wanted to route this to affect, let's say oscillator 1 pitch. Let's put this wavetable mix knob in the middle. Let's change the oscillator 1 wave. And let's try the control layer as well. Let's bring the amounts up. So now using this mod 1 dial, we're doing all this. So we're working all of these. Now what we could do is we can go to our next slot and we could choose mod 1 again and we can continue. So let's say we wanted to route this now to the reverb dry wet amount. Let's bring up the amount here. Let's bring in some delay as well. So we can have even more things being affected by this one modulator, this one macro. So it can be quite creative to have these 4 macros assigned to control multiple parameters simultaneously. So that concludes our look at the modulation matrix and also the macros. So remember, we have 15 slots here. In each slot, we can have 2 sources, 4 different targets. The amount here can be positive or negative as well. And we use example of the LFO and the envelope affecting the filter cutoff to get some kind of interesting interaction between those 2 modulators. And then we had a look at the 4 macro controls that can be used to affect multiple parameters, multiple targets. And we did that by using 2 pages, using this third slot here to affect oscillator 1 parameters. And then I went through to the second page and used the mod 1 to affect the reverb dry wet and also the delay dry wet. And that's the modulation matrix and also the macro controls. Okay, so now we've covered that. In the next video, we're going to have a look at drift, portamento, the pitch bender, and also global transpose. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.